Hi everyone, this is going to be a review and full day wear test of L'Oreal's brand new reformulated True Match Foundation. And I am also going to compare it with the original version to see if there's any significant difference in quality, how it wears, etc., and also the shade comparison. So if this interests you, please keep watching. Thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe and also follow Allura Beauty on Instagram. If you didn't see the last video, that's for another drugstore foundation, Revlon's Illuminance Foundation. So make sure you go check that out, see if it's a better match for you or if L'Oreal is a better match for you. All right, so the full name for this is L'Oreal Paris's True Match Super Blendable Foundation. And many people, this is kind of like a cult classic, the original version, but there are some differences. One, the new version comes with a pump already built in. With the original version, it was just a cap, and this pump here is something I purchased separately and added. It doesn't come with the original version. You can purchase this online and in your local drugstore. Prices will vary depending on which retailer you purchased it from, but I purchased this for around $14, and you get 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters. The pump dispenser is plastic, but the bottle is glass, just like with the original. The shade range is said to be the exact same. So if you know what your shade is in the original version, you just choose the exact same shade in the new line. Now, how is this different? And of course, we're going to go over the claims too in terms of what the formulation does. It's a medium coverage foundation that is supposed to adapt to any skin color and texture for a natural look. It's supposed to be blendable so that you can't really tell that you're wearing foundation or the difference between your own skin and the foundation. It's now supposed to be available in 47 total shades in both cool, neutral, and warm undertones. It's also claimed to be suitable for sensitive skin. The difference now between the old and original formula include the fact that it's now a vegan formula, so there are no animal-derived ingredients. Like I told you, there's a pump with the new version, and in addition, it's formulated without any alcohols, fragrance, or oils. Oh, and it also says that it's now formulated with 6 pigments to get you a true color match. Here are the ingredients. So true to claim, I don't see any drying alcohol in here, and I also don't see any fragrance that's been added. All right, let's go back in time, apply these, and compare. The way I'll test this is by applying the old version on one half of my face and the new version on the other half. And because I have them in both versions in the same shade, we'll get to test out the claim that all of the shades are 1-to-1 the same in each version, and that you don't have to worry about finding your shade again if you know your shade in the old version. So what do we start with? Let's start with the original version. This pump I bought myself. It does not come with the original version, although nowadays you probably won't find the original version on the shelves. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply with my fingers. The shade that I have is W3. W is for warm. Out of the bottle, this has a medium thickness to it. It's not a thin, watery texture. It's not quite like a mousse, but I feel like it's a little thicker than some other liquid foundations. All right, so to this half of my face, we have the original version, and this side of my face is bare. You can see that I think this is a very good match for my NC 20 to 25 skin. And there, you can see it up close. Pretty smooth, although I do feel like there is a little bit of texture if you were to look up close, especially on the upper lip area, kind of near the hairline. All right, let's go ahead and apply the new version, which comes with a pump, which is really nice. I have cleaned off my hands. So this comes out as a much thinner texture which is nice, I think, because it's much easier to spread. Here is the side with the new formulation. Much easier to apply and spread around. It's a much thinner consistency. I do still feel like there's texture created in the upper lip area, but not so much comparatively in the hairline. Overall, still nice and smooth. I do feel like the color match is pretty much dead on. I don't see any difference in the tone or color between these two sides. Let me know if you agree. Now, I do want to give a caveat that this old version is probably dried out a little bit because it's old. Like, I've purchased this probably over a year, maybe even 2 years ago. And it may have dried out a little more because I added my own pump, which may let more air in there. So that probably contributes to that slightly more moussey texture as opposed to a thinner liquid texture. The finishes between the two sides are pretty much the same. So in application and practically speaking, I don't see a huge difference. I do feel like this side with the original or old version is a little more, just slightly less smooth, but you would have to really be coming up close and inspecting that. So here's up close, new version, old version. So you can see the coverage and finish, new version and old version. And I will go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and let you see. Okay, so here's the face done with kind of more simple makeup so we can focus on the foundation. Put translucent powder applied. It plays well with powder makeup. And I would say very good medium level coverage where it doesn't look too much like a mask, but gives you a good amount of smoothing out and evening out of the skin tone. A more matte finish compared to the, for example, Revlon Illuminance foundation that I just recently reviewed. But again, I would say no obvious difference between the sides. If you looked really closely and were looking for a difference, then maybe you would see the evermost microscopic level of slightly more smoothness with the new formulation. But I would say they're pretty much even head to head. So here's the old version and the new version. Again, original or old formulation and new formulation. Let's go and see what this looks like in natural light. So in natural light, here's what the new side looks like in terms of finish and the old version. All right, so we will check back in at the end of the day to see if there's any noticeable difference between the two sides in terms of how they wear. Okay, here we are at the very end of the day, and I feel like this wore very nicely. And I also can't see a noticeable difference between the two sides. I think it still looks very smooth. In fact, if anything, I feel like it smoothed out over time a little bit, just mixing with my natural skin, the oils in my skin. And I wouldn't be able to tell you which side had applied the new versus the older or original version. The formula has also done a very good job of keeping increased shine and oil at bay. Obviously, my skin is more shiny than it was on first application, but in particular, even with the side with the new formulation that does not include any alcohol, there isn't any more shininess on that side. So people oftentimes think, well, I want alcohol in the formula because then it will make it so that it's more mattifying, but I don't think that that's true for any sort of long-term mattifying effect, because tell me if you disagree, but I don't see any difference between these two sides. So overall, I think whether you have the original version or the new version, it's a good formulation. The advantages of the new foundation are that it comes with a pump already. You don't have to buy it separately. And they have taken out the drying alcohol, and there is no fragrance or oils added to the formulation. So I would say overall an improvement in formulation without any sort of loss of quality or wear time or anything like that. So I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.